Hello, everybody. Dr. Joe's in the house, and hope you're doing well on this Wednesday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Hope you had a great week, and I had a good week as usual, and nothing really eventful, but it was just a quiet week and trying to take care of the business, grow the business, helping one of my students who's got a house under contract. There's a lot to getting this still done. But essentially, what it is that have a in the Washington D.C. area, one of the students, Femi, and he seen a house, and we went to the house, looked at it, and made an offer, negotiated. The real estate agent negotiated, and ultimately we were able to get it under contract. And now we're going through the whole due diligence process, financing process. Hopefully, if all goes well, we will be settling soon. And I'll keep you up to date on how that goes in terms of the transformation going to closing during the rehab process. And ultimately, he's going to do a buy and hold. We're turning this 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath into a 6-bedroom, 4.5 bath. And that's what we're going to do. And if you want to hear more about that, keep in touch and let me know. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about landlording. And the topic, the title of today's Wealth Wednesday is going to be Savvy Landlording Strategies for Rental Property Success. Savvy Landlording Strategies. We're going to do a little bit more of a deep dive today. We're going to talk about landlording stuff, both for beginners, whether you're a beginner, whether you're an intermediate, or whether you're a seasoned real estate investor. I think we're going to have some good content for you. And and so on. Also, we do have an event on Saturday, this Saturday, October 7th, and it's one of my properties in Washington D.C. So if you're in the Washington D.C. area, please come along. It's gonna be a great event. We're breaking into 2 parts. The first part is all education, a lot of good content. We're going to do a deeper dive into landlording strategies, talk about how I do it. Why am I able to get 5, 10, 15, 20-year tenants, 25-year tenants when people are able to get 1 or 2-year tenants? We're going to talk about that, do a deep dive, go talk about some of the lessons learned. What I do today is not what I did when I first started out. I'll give you the rationale behind all that and why it works. And hopefully it'll help you, encourage you, motivate you so that you can pursue your own journey as well. And so that's part 1 of the event on Saturday. And then part 2 is we're going to be networking. It will be a sponsored event, so we're going to have some catered food. So bring your empty stomachs, and we're going to have some nice food there. And then you can network, mingle, socialize with other like-minded people. And hopefully you can start developing relationships. And, so that way it can help you as I said before, as you continue on your real estate journey. It's really good to network with people, just to kind of interact with people every now and then. I think there's a time and place for Zoom meetings, but I think there's a time and place for networking. So whether you're in the DMV, the Washington D.C. area, or whether you're out of state, please come along if you can make it. You can register on my website, www.joeasamoah.com. Also, you can register on Instagram and also on Facebook as well. So looking forward to that event. We'll probably go to a lot more detail than I'm going to go through today, and so on. Anyway, so let's get going. As usual, if you do have any questions, please enter your questions in the comments in the chat box, and I will do the best that I can to answer them during the Ask Dr. Joe segment, which will be towards the end of probably about another 20 minutes from now. We'll go into that. So pick my brain, ask me all the questions pertaining to real estate that you can think of. I'll do my best to try to answer it. I don't know if you can see this. got a little stubble here. So I'm trying to decide whether to grow a beard or no beard. And I was told that I may look good in the beard. I've never had one before, but we'll see. Anyway, give me your thoughts on what you think, and so on. So again, October the 7th, Elevate Your Landlord Skill event. And so you can subscribe or register on my Instagram, website, or also on Facebook as well. Okay, so let's get down to brass tacks. Savvy landlording strategies for rental property success. What does that mean? I'm going to break it down, as I said before, into little components. So the first one we're going to talk about is really the foundation. I'm going to talk about strategies, whether you're a beginner, whether you're an intermediate, and whether you're an advanced. So let's start with the beginner stuff. Some of the things that you want to do, at least consider, is to make sure you have a solid foundation. And the key to that, obviously, is you can't, as I say, in real estate, it's all about location, location, location. Choosing the right property and the right location is absolutely paramount. Looking back on my experience, it's good to acquire properties, but I think we can be savvy about it. We don't just have to buy stuff because it's a good deal. I think it's good to buy stuff because it makes sense. It makes sense because you can attract quality tenants. It's going to appreciate in value over time, and you're going to get a good ROI. I've looked at my portfolio, and I realized that not all houses, not all areas appreciate the same. They don't. And so if you're going to buy and hold on to this stuff, you may as well let time work in your favor. And that's what I mean by is appreciation. So try to buy in areas whereby you can, there's a good chance of appreciation. But also, obviously, you want to get cash flow, but appreciation is really important. And, not all areas appreciate the same. So for, I like Section 8. I know where, the greatest demand is for Section 8 in where I live, this area here. So I tend to buy in areas whereby I'm more likely to attract the kind of tenants that I'm looking for. And the tenants, what I'm looking for, as you know, is tier 1 tenants. They have a pretty good idea where they want to live, where they don't want to live. And I try to buy in areas whereby I can attract and appeal for the kind of tenants that I'm looking for. So that's what I do as a Section 8. Obviously, some people, do other niche strategies. A lot of people do student housing. So obviously, in that scenario, you want to be close to education institutions, whether colleges, universities, and things like that, where you get a consistent influx of students. Some people like families, cases of families, and suburban style families. So obviously, you want to be in family-oriented areas where you're more likely to attract the kind of families that you're looking for, and hopefully you get that stability which families tend to desire. So the other thing is sometimes you can anticipate future developments. I know if you're savvy where you are, you may find that the trends maybe say from east to west, or south to north, or north to south, or whatever. I mean, sometimes if you study an area, you'll see the path of growth. And you speak to people like real estate agents, property investors, property management companies, or appraisers. They usually have a pretty good idea of trends in that city, state, neighborhoods that you or zip codes that you're interested in. And sometimes they know what's coming down the pike. And so you can sort of be a little bit ahead of the curve if you are in tune with it kind of stuff. So try to get an idea of infrastructure plans and where the trends are in terms of property appreciation in your particular jurisdiction. So you want to do some market research, market analysis, and get a feel for where the growth projections are and where the demographic shifts are for your areas of interest. So again, the idea is that choosing the right property and choosing the right location is really, really key if you're a new investor. Another thing, if you're a new investor, is the whole notion of tenant selection and tenant screening. As I said, one thing I've learned is that if you can't screen or don't screen well, then all you're doing, you're setting yourself up for disaster. You're setting yourself up for failure. It's hard to, it's easy to get people in your house. It's a lot more difficult to get them out once they're in there. And I think that probably 80% of all your problems as a buy and hold investor, as a landlord, is because you just got the wrong person in your house, and which means that you didn't screen properly, and now you kind of have to. So a little bit more work on the front end could just save you so much aggravation on the back end. So as you know, for me, it's not just a matter of just doing a credit check. Savvy investors, savvy tenants know how to get around that. I think it's really important to have personal interaction and with your prospective tenant. I like to I ask questions. I like to meet with them one-on-one at open houses. I like to go to their prospective person's home to engage with them and talk to them, talk to their family members, see how how they interact. It's really important to me because just because somebody has a nice car, a nice dress, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be a good tenant. They're going to take care of your house. So I like that personal interaction if possible. I'm not a great fan of those automated tools whereby you just plug in some numbers in some software, an algorithm that spits out a decision, yes or no. That may be okay. I just, it's a good start, but I don't use that as the be all and end all. I like to just engage with people, talk to them. And I utilize screening services, usual stuff like criminal history, eviction history, credit, social media, and that kind of stuff. And as I said, I like to do open houses where I can just interact with potential prospective tenants, get a sense of their personality, get a sense of what their goals are, what their aspirations are, whether there's a good fit in terms of what they're looking for, what I have, and just see that as a connection there. In fact, if you come to the event on Saturday, I don't think I'm going to have, I probably won't, I don't think there's enough time, but I'd like to, maybe a future one, invite a prospective a tenant of mine. And that way you can speak to them and you can learn from them how I do it. Oh gosh, hold on a second. I will got my phone. Sorry about that. I turn my silencer off and so on. So yeah, so what's it called? So that's that one, and tenant selection, tenant screening, and make sure it's a fit. The other thing is, as a new investor, you want to do is to understand local regulations, and navigating illegal waters can be challenging. You need to, I think, interact with other landlords, engage what you can learn from their experiences, what they do. You can connect with seasoned investors. You can familiarize yourself with intricate laws. It's really important that you know the landlord tenant laws wherever you are, and addressing things like security deposits, eviction notices, and things like that. And and there are people out there who know more than you. There are people out there who are a bit more experienced and seasoned, and you want to connect and network with those folks if at all possible. The other thing is, again, as for a new investor, is making sure that your rent is set at the right price, it's competitive, it's comparable with other. And how do you do that? You can analyze listings. There's market research you can do. There's Rentometer. There's affordable housing. There's quite a few websites. I think Bigger Pockets has one whereby you can plug in your address and they'll give you some idea of what the comparable rents are out there. So that way you can make sure that you set your rent to be competitive and not too high, but not too low, but it's competitive. So you want to know what the current rents are in your area and the rent and the rental trends, and what kind of upgrades are tenants looking for, and and proximity to desirable things like amenities like school, shopping, recreation, and other local amenities. So that way you can set your rent, accordingly. So conduct market analysis, adjust your rents accordingly, and subject to local demands and supplies, and also economic shifts. So these are, some strategies, some tips for beginner investors. I'm going to talk about a few things for if you're a intermediate investor. Intermediate, in my opinion, is people who've got maybe 5+ properties, and you're no longer a newbie in the sense that you've got a little small portfolio, and you're trying to grow your portfolio. So that's what I mean by intermediate landlords. So one of the things you want to do, obviously, is to you want to scale your business. You want to kind of grow your business. So what does that mean? What do you want to do if you want to expand? You want to make sure that you have tools, the right tools, because you want to automate certain things. Tools becomes and systems become really, really indispensable. There's a lot of property management software out there. There's Appfolio, there's Buildium, there's Rent Ready, there's QuickBooks Online. There's a whole bunch of different software out there, like especially a lot of cloud-based software that you can use nowadays for the rent collection, maintenance tracking. They have portals and things like that. If you want to scale, some people just don't want to, they don't have the time to do it themselves. So if you want to scale, you may want to find yourself a property management company or a third party that can do the heavy lifting for you. Now, my take on that is that just because you are outsourcing to a property management company doesn't necessarily mean that all your problems is going to go away. It doesn't. Sometimes property management companies are good, sometimes not that great. Sometimes, they don't care. Their interest may not be consistent with your interest. So, I want to make sure that people don't think that all I got to do is just give it to a management company, all my problems will go away, because it doesn't. I have yet to find a good management company that I use. I've tried it a couple of times; it just didn't work for me. In fact, I had an Airbnb and I gave it to a management company, and it just wasn't working. I ended up taking it over myself, and taking it over myself. I'm more concerned. I'm a lot more customer service, and I'm getting a lot more bookings managing myself than I ever did when I gave it to a third party to do. So again, management of a third is key. So if you're going to give it to a property management company, then obviously the next thing is to make sure that you manage the managers. And so evaluate property managers and look at their track records, their communication skills, and their fees, and therefore act accordingly. The other thing is, as you're scaling, is dealing with difficult tenants. You will get difficult tenants. Not all tenants are great. You got some great ones, you got some difficult ones, you got everything in the middle. I've had my fair share of good, bad, and ugly. I've had my fair share of tenants from hell. I mean, they're out there, and they're just waiting for you. And so, you're going to have to deal with those situations as and when they arise. So obviously your relationship skills becomes very important. Your communication skills becomes your sort of what's the right word? You can de-escalate certain situations. That becomes quite important, because sometimes people are very irate and they take it out on you. It's not your fault. It's just that things are happening. So your ability to kind of de-escalate certain things becomes very important. Record keeping becomes very important. Ability to understand the legal eviction process becomes very, very important. And difficult tenants are just a reality. And I think that as savvy investors, we're going to have to sort of, if we're going to manage it ourselves, that is, be able to understand how to understand people, work with people, and hopefully get the best out of them to create these win-win scenarios. You educate yourself. There's a lot of good information on the internet, on YouTube videos, and so on, so you can learn that way. The other thing is, let me just say again, if you got some questions, please put them in the chat box. We're going to go to Ask Dr. Joe in a few minutes, and I'll do the best I can to answer all the questions you have. So don't forget to put your comments in the chat box, and I will answer your questions very, very shortly. Property maintenance and upgrades. I mean, regular maintenance is really important, and so every so often you got to do proactive repairs and prevent expensive issues from arising. That's something you're going to have to do, and you're going to have to invest in some energy efficient upgrades. Like thermostats, smart thermostats, insulation. I know some landlords even doing solar now. But the idea is that you can do some proactive or preventative maintenance that will save you some cost in the long run. I do a lot of home warranties on my properties. And so to me, when something goes wrong, it's always good. I can just sort of outsource it to a third party in terms of the fixers and so on. If you can, create a maintenance calendar. So every so often, you you go by, do an inspection of the property, check the filters, you do proactive maintenance before the summer cooling season and the winter cooling systems as well. So yeah, preventive maintenance I think is quite important. The other thing is diversifying your portfolio. Obviously, when you're first starting out, you want to grow your portfolio, you want to build a portfolio, but at some point you want to diversify, whether it be geographically, whether it be in the types of the properties that you have, the sizes of the houses, or even the niches that you deal with. So you may want to go to vacation properties or commercial properties or short-term rental properties, and to kind of diversify if you feel it's appropriate. Personally, I like to focus. I like focus. I like to become a master of one rather than trying to be a jack of all trades. But I understand some people like to diversify. All power to them. It's just not me. I know what I'm good at. I know what I enjoy. I know how to get the best out of these things. So anyway, you want to research each of these different segments. The grass is always green on the other side, as they say, until you get there. And it's the same old, same old. It's not easy. Real estate is not easy. It's difficult. It's challenging. But you can do it. And then I'll do some strategies for if you're a bit more seasoned. Say if you own 10 plus properties, then some tips for you there is I think financial management becomes really important. There's understanding money management, understanding the tax obligations, being savvy in terms of tracking your expenses, income, making decisions. I meet with my assistant once a month. We do a strategy session. In fact, we did one today where we go through all the financials, go through all the numbers, and just to gauge how we're doing this year, how we're doing this or last month, and what metrics we need to monitor and what things we need to be aware of, and so we could be a little bit more proactive. I do have a bookkeeper, and the bookkeeper I use, she helps me in terms of tracking all the inflows and outflows of the business, and then obviously I have a CPA who does my taxes and so on. So these are members of my team. And these, as you become a seasoned investor, as you try to strive to grow your portfolio, you're going to need to track your money, the flow, be able to let the data tell you, to help you make decisions, and so on. I think as you're trying to grow, you want to sort of do things to enhance the tenant experience. What I found is that tenant satisfaction is the key. It's been the key to my success. That's how I get 5, 10, 15, 20-year tenants. They're happy. They want to stay in my properties. And I use customer satisfaction as a firewall against other potential poaching landlords. So I want to keep and retain my tenants because I realize that turnover is so expensive. And if I can avoid that, I can usually keep a lot of that money in my pocket. So, gauge your tenants, survey your tenants. I, send surveys to my tenants at least once a year, just to gauge that they're okay. Make sure that I understand what's right, what's wrong. Are there anything that they don't like? Are they happy? And hopefully I can make proactive decisions accordingly. You can, as I said, I do tenant surveys. We're doing that now. And I didn't used to do that, but I'm just starting. I read about it and decided to integrate that into my business. Customer satisfaction is really important, and that's what I think a savvy long-term landlord is some of the things that they'll want to do. Long-term planning, regularly assess your portfolio, do metrics, do analysis. As I said before, I do one once a month. Did mine today, in fact. Some people, if they have underperforming properties, they sell them. And ensuring that they have an optimized portfolio, and they can engage a financial advisor if necessary. And also you can, hopefully long-term planning, you can use real estate as the vehicle for your retirement plan, and it can give you residual passive income and so on. And then obviously you have to adjust accordingly. The other thing for savvy investors, long-term investors, is the whole idea of technology. embracing technology. We talked about technology a couple of weeks ago and how technology is really, shaking up real estate. It's AI now. I use a lot of technology in terms of what I do, from the software applications, cloud storage, and pretty much everything now is cloud-based that I do. In terms of advertising, I use a lot of online platforms like Zillow to maximize property visibility and ensuring a steady stream of potential applicants when I have a house for rent. And there's a lot of emerging technology out there that you may want to consider to enhance tenant experiences and also to streamline your management operations. There's a lot of online portal software, property management software, financial analysis software, AI, artificial intelligence software that I think we can use in growing our business. So in conclusion, it's now what, 7:30 about? Your path to landlord success. It really, wherever you are on your journey, whether you're new, seasoned, or intermediate investor, it's important to have certain things in place. Have a nuanced strategies, implement some of the strategies I've shared with you today, because it's more likely to increase your chance of success. Whether you're starting out, you need to establish the foundations. Whether you want to grow your portfolio, you want to make sure you have a path towards growth. And if you're trying to become the best of your game, mastery has become really important as well. Every detail is really important. Technology integration, customer service, tenant satisfaction, all these things are important. So you can scale, you can grow, you can keep ahead of market trends, and also you can prioritize what's important for you on your journey towards financial independence. It could be done. I've done it. I know how to do it. And, hopefully some of the tips I've shared with you today will help you on your journey towards financial independence, a commitment to excellence, because at the end of the day, that's the cornerstone of your legacy that you want to leave. And hopefully for yourself, your family, your community, and also you can make money, but also you can do good as well. So hopefully today was good. And that, my friends, is pretty much it. And again, don't forget, we do have an event on Saturday on landlord. It's called Elevating Your Landlording Skills, and it's going to be good. It's going to be a local event in Washington D.C. at one of my properties. So please come along if you're local, and definitely would like to see you there, and so on. So it's going to be at one of my properties. You can register either on my website, www.joeasamoah.com. You can also register on Instagram or Facebook at the handle is at Dr. Joe Asamoah. And there's a nominal fee. It's not free. We're going to have this be catered. There's some real nice food there, so bring your empty stomachs. We do have a sponsor who's Nick Despedidas at N. Garcia, which is part of the Keller Williams organization affiliation, I suppose. They're going to be sponsoring it, and Nick's a good guy. I've got quite a few deals from him as a real estate agent, and he's graciously offered to sponsor today's or Saturday's event. So please, I look forward to seeing you on Saturday between 11 and 1. Sign up and register at www.joeasamoah.com, or also on Facebook and also on my Instagram handles, which is at Dr. Joe Asamoah. So let's go down to, if you want to shoot me an email, please shoot me an email. My email address is joe@joeasamoah.com, joe@joeasamoah.com, and so on. So let's get down to some questions. Let's have a look. What questions we have today? Let's have a look. Who do we have here? We have Datu. Hey, greetings from Phoenix. Thank you, Dr. Joe. The 3 to 5 transformation sounds interesting. It's not 3 to 5, it's 4 to 6. That's what it is. It's going to be a real good one. And hopefully I can share with you as we go through that journey. My current voucher tenant is my first ever voucher tenant. October makes the 6-month point. He's been a tenant. In a previous Zoom, I think you mentioned the voucher program goes to month to month. No, it's the first year. It's a 1-year lease. And then after that, it goes to month. So first year, it's 1 year. You have what we call a HAP contract. A contract is called a Housing Assistance Program contract that you have between yourself and also the housing authority. And that is for the first year. And so on. So, and then after that, it reverts to month. That's how it is here in the Washington, D.C. area. You don't need to every year sign a new lease. It just automatically reverts to month after the end of the first year. Okay. T. Lewis, what criteria do you use when selecting your tenants, such as credit, rent court, his rental history, etc.? What criteria I use? There's different things. What I do, I have an application form. First of all, they have to complete an application form, which has a lot of information. It's an 8-page application. You can buy that on my website. It's an 8-page application. They fill that out. I go through the application with them to make sure it's complete. And once that's done, we then start doing the screening process. And the screening for me involves, at a high level, I'll talk about that. It's the income, make sure they can afford the place. Obviously, if they have a voucher, then the government is going to be paying most of the rent. So, and the government has AAA credit. Well, assuming they're shut down, they have AAA credit. So therefore, the tenant's credit is not so great. It's not so important because the housing authorities has a AAA credit, and that money is going to be coming through. So credit, income, eviction search, and also do a social media search. I contact the current landlords and previous landlords, especially the previous landlords, and I also do a home visit and background search, criminal history search, and all those different things. I'm very, very thorough on my screening process. Because a mistake there is going to set you up for failure. After the first year, is there anything documents you have to provide to the voucher program after a year other than they allowing a home inspection, or does the month to month happen organically? Yeah, so after the first year, depending on where you are, what jurisdiction you're in, Datu, you may they do an annual, what they call a housing quality standard HQS inspection. So an inspector will come to your house. Sometimes it's once a year, and sometimes once every 2 years. So it depends on where you are. In Washington, D.C., it's every 2 years. And so they'll come, they'll check the house, make sure that it passes what they call housing quality standards. And let's have a look. What is your in terms of the tenant has to what they call recertify once every year or once every 2 years, which means that they have to bring documentation to the housing authority to confirm that they're still eligible in terms of their income, in terms of their family sizes, and so on. If there's a change there, then they'll send you a notice saying that effective so-and-so, your rent is going up or down, or their portion is going up or down, and the tenant's portion is going to go up or down as well. Other interactions, if you want a rent increase, you have to, again, it depends on your jurisdiction. Some jurisdictions you have to request a rent increase. Other jurisdictions is automatic. So if you have to request, then you have to give the right notices, whether 30 days, 60 days, wherever you are. What else? So yeah, but it automatically goes to month to month after the first year. That's to answer your question. Okay, good questions today. Dion talk financial freedom, self-manage or property manager. I self-manage. It's not easy, but I just had more success than giving it to a property manager. A property manager, again, not to slight property management companies. It's just that I haven't found one that is any good, to tell you the truth. The person that cares more about your property is you. And you can't expect other people to care about what than you should. And so if you do have a property management company or property manager, then you need to oversee them. You need to manage that relationship to make sure that they're looking out for your interests as opposed to, their own interest. I think I told you the story of my brother. He used to have a management company that managed his properties, and every year, like clockwork, the new tenant will go out, and another one will come in. There'll be vacancies, turnover, very expensive. He got sick of it. He asked me to take over. I ultimately took over, and we've had the same tenant for almost 15 years now. So yeah, this is because my agenda, I'm looking out for him and not looking out for myself. So again, it's that's just me. That's just my choice. But everyone's to their own. But I think that if you want to manage it yourself, you can do it. But it's not, there's certain things that you do need to know. And that's why I'm having this event on Saturday. And that's why I'm having this today's. So hopefully you can learn a few things about how to do it the right way. So hopefully you can avoid making unnecessary mistakes. I mentioned Zoom, but I meant YouTube Live. Okay. Yeah, so I'm not too sure what that was about. Okay. RT Lewis, what's your desired cap rate for buying holds? It's cash flow. I'm more into long-term appreciation. So, I'm not really, the first house I bought, let's give how crazy it is. The first house I bought, the cash flow was $50, $50, 50, that was it. And I had tenant from hell. All that for $50. Anybody in their right mind will say, why are you buying it? Don't buy it because the cash on cash return, the cap rate, and the NOI, it doesn't make any sense. But I'm in the buy and hold, and I realize that over time prices will go up. So that scenario, the rent now is $4,700, and the mortgage is $0. So it's quite a bit of cash flow now. The property, I bought it for $47, is now $700,000. So, all that stuff to say that it's important to get cash flow. But it depends what's important to you. And I want the appreciation because I live in an appreciating market. And the way it works is that 10 years ago, it was expensive then, now it's cheap. 5 years ago, it was expensive then, now it's cheap. 10 years from now, it's going to be expensive, but now it's expensive. It's always expensive. And but if you don't buy now, 10 years from now, you'll be kicking yourself that you didn't buy it. So, but also the buy and hold, the cap rate, the calculations, I think there's a miss. It's not really true. Not true. You can only realize the numbers if you have tenants that pay you. Okay. If you have tenants that take care of your property, pleasant to deal with, and want to stay a long time, that's really important. Because if you don't have that, then it really doesn't matter what a calculator says. You're just not gonna. It's not gonna work. So calculators only work if you have good tenants, and that's where screening comes in. And there's so many people who say, well, the calculator said I should buy this house because I'm going to get a 6 cap or 10 cap or whatever it is. But then they get saddled with crappy tenants and who aren't paying them. And so all those cash flow gets evaporated into thin air. So, just be careful. Mike LaChapelle. Hi, Mike. Hope you're doing good. We got good questions now coming in. Dow 2. From your personal experience, do you think your Airbnb is more profitable than one of your long-term rentals, comparing apples to apples on an annual basis? It depends. Airbnb is a bit more management intensive. It can be, but the Airbnb model, I think, is not as attractive as it used to be because there's just a lot more supply. A lot more people are trying to get into it now. Also, a lot of jurisdictions are trying to ban it. So if you do get full occupancy, yeah, you can make good cash flow. But there's now just so many Airbnbs out there, especially in this area, and and also the like in Washington D.C., they're restricting it heavily in terms of your ability to do Airbnb. I know New York, I think it is. They've essentially clamped down on that. So the number of Airbnb slots are just shrinking down. So it's difficult. It's a lot more intensive. You get a lot more turnover. You got to probably essentially have a management company, or you're going to have to be involved. But yeah, you can get more profitable. But I just prefer just buying a house, getting someone in there who's going to stay 5, 10, 15, 20 years. That's it. And keeping it simple. They love the house. They take care of the house, and so on. That's just me. And but my time is more important, and therefore I want tenants that don't consume a lot of my time. And if you give it to a management company, though, for Airbnb, they usually charge you 10, 15, 15, 20, 25%. So that eats a lot of your profits as well. Okay, Dow too. I put new carpet in one of my rentals in 2018 prior to the tenant moving in. He recently asked me if I could replace the carpet. I asked if I could do a home inspection, but he canceled our appointment. Let's have a look. I am thinking new carpet lasts longer than 5 years, so my thoughts are it should only need cleaning. What's your thoughts about replacing carpet? My thoughts about replacing carpet is I'm trying to get out of the carpet business. I'm transforming converting all my carpets, taking them out, and putting luxury vinyl planks in there. They're a lot more durable. They can withstand traffic a lot better. They can withstand spills a lot better. And so carpets, if you got a good tenant who's taking care of it, you're good. But if you don't, the stains go on it and it just messes it up and things like that. So it's I think a lot of people are going away from carpets anyway. They got allergies and and so on. So I think the number of carpeted properties is going down. So I'm not putting carpet in any of my properties anymore. So if you could replace the carpet, it's definitely cheaper. But I think in the long term, it probably works out more expensive because it's not as durable as other forms of. I used to have put hardwood floors, but I'm now trending more towards the vinyl planks because it's just a lot more durable, and they could withstand traffic and spills and abuse. About the wallet, thanks for sharing your screening process. No problem. You're welcome. Oh, happy day. Hi, will you be doing any events in November? I don't know about November. We'll see. I got this event on Saturday, October the 7th. So please, if you're in town, if you're in the DC area, last time we had people coming from Florida, we have people coming from Texas, we have people coming from New York, I think. So it doesn't matter. Just because in Washington, come on down. I'll do the best I can to entertain you and make sure that you have good quality information. Ready. Thank you, Dr. Joe. Look forward to meeting you one day. Hopefully, I'll meet you as well, Ready. Hopefully, I can see you on Saturday at the event. Yoli, good night, Dr. Joe. Purchased my ticket. Notice location will be announced 24 hours prior. Starts at 11 a.m. Yes, taking Amtrak from New York. Oh, good. Hope train is close to the event. Probably not. You're going to have to take, when you get to the station, you're probably going to have to take a Uber. It's not that far away. So Uber from New York to the house is probably about 10, 15 minutes. But I look forward to seeing you, Yoli. Make sure you come early. I don't want the train to be late and you miss the event. So please come on down. Look forward to seeing you. Hi, Katie. Hi, Dr. Joe. This question might be better for an extended conversation, but I have been, quote, quite curious. Do you primarily focus on single-family homes, or do you also invest in multifamily? I do primarily single-family homes. That's just my niche. I know a lot of other investors, they prefer multifamily. I just like single families. I cater primarily to families. And what I found is that families tend to stay longer, and therefore you have less turnover. And I do a lot of Section 8s who have 3, 4, 5, 6 bedroom vouchers. And when you have 3, 4, 5, 6 bedroom vouchers, which means that you got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 kids. And families with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 kids, they want a house. And therefore you tend to have more stability. And that's how I get 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So I deal primarily with single family homes. I'm not too sure about if you're an investor or a real estate agent or a bird dog or wholesaler, Katie. But yeah, that's what I do. Primarily in the Washington, D.C. area. I have very, very clear criteria. So hopefully we can do some business. And if you're in town, please come on down on Saturday. And I'd love to see you. And we can talk and network and also exchange good information. Thank you, Artie. You're welcome. Dr. Joe, are all your properties in LLCs? Some properties are in LLCs, some properties are not. It just depends. it depends on financing, depends on how things are. So yes, I own properties in LLCs. I own some properties in different LLCs. I don't have one LLC per property, because in this area it's just so expensive to have and maintain an LLC. You're talking $300 a year per LLC. So if you have 10 properties and you have 10 LLCs, that's $3,000 just in fees alone, and a year just for. So sometimes it's better to bunch several LLCs into one. I know the gurus will tell you don't do that, but each to their own, as they say. You can do one per LLC, that's fine, but I don't think that's necessary. But I'm not an attorney, I'm not a lawyer, so please, seek legal advice, and they will suggest accordingly. Yoli, good, thank you. I think we're good for so far for today, so I'm going to kind of wrap it up. If you got any more questions, put it in briefly. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap it up for today. And again, I want to see you on Saturday, if possible, for an event, at one of my properties. It's going to be called Elevate Your Landlording Skills, and October the 7th is Saturday, and in Washington, D.C. on my properties. So please sign up, register at my website, joeasimo.com, or on Instagram or Facebook. It's going to be great. There's going to be some networking opportunities as well. And also it's going to be catered food. So bring your empty stomachs with you, and we will see you there. Please come a little early, and I want to make sure that you arrive before you can walk through the house, and you can see one of my properties in real time, and hopefully we can engage and talk and network, and I can help you on your journey towards financial independence. So with that said and done, my friends, I think I'm going to wrap it up for today, and I will see you hopefully on Saturday. And if I don't see you on Saturday, I'll see you next Wednesday on Wealth Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, take care. Have a good night.